Men who can cry in front of women are hot. There, I said it. And it's not just because I'm an angry, bitter feminist who likes to sadistically watch men suffer. I mean, it's that as well. I'm just kidding. Am I kidding? I think I'm kidding. No, the reason why I actually like it when men cry is for a huge number of reasons, so you'd better watch to the end of this video. That's right, I can see my analytics, I see you clicking off the video 2 minutes in, I know, you cannot hide from me. Shame! But first, I wanted to share with you all the comment that prompted me to make this video because, oh my god, it is infuriating. It reads, okay, I'm totally with you, I agree, but can you not see that women don't really expect an emotional man? For example, if I have some problems like big ones and I feel helpless and I came to you and I go down crying and acting very emotional in front of you, what's your response? I will tell you what you're gonna say. You will say to him, it's okay baby, I'm here with supporting you and everything. We'll be okay, don't worry, but the real thing is deep down you saying you don't respect that man anymore. That's why he's acting like a little baby. Be a real man and sort your problems. So that's what the chicks think about. That's the reality. A woman, she's already emotional, so why does she need an emotional partner too? And when I say emotional, I'm saying, not saying cold heart now. What I mean is someone can't handle his issues, supported too easily and give up feel depressed. That's what women don't like and about the men, so it is what it is. This person was arguing in favour of Andrew Tate's messages, if that wasn't already obvious. Go ahead and watch my previous video about Andrew Tate if you want to know what I said that triggered him so hard. Anyway, after reading that comment several times, so difficult to understand such bad grammar, what I realised is that his comment can be boiled down into 2 main points. Point number 1, the idea that he thinks that all women secretly lose all respect for a man at the moment he dares to show any ounce of emotion.
The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
And point number 2, he thinks that because women are such emotional creatures that there is obviously not a single one on the planet who would desire a man who is even remotely close to being the same way.
Who cry when their girlfriend cheats on them, because she certainly does, because she doesn't respect the little crybaby.
And that's just not the case. Here's why. So the moment anyone, male or female, develops even 1 ounce of emotional intelligence, they tend to realise that crying in front of someone particularly, whilst it does show vulnerability, it also shows bravery. That's right, I actually think that when a man cries, it's brave, because it takes balls to be able to be weak and vulnerable in front of somebody and yet not immediately start panicking thinking, oh no, they know my weakness, whatever will I do now? Like, if somebody knows you have weaknesses, who cares? We all have weaknesses because we're all human beings. That's just a fact, whether you like it or not. And until Andrew Tate or some other alpha male type finds a way to merge his DNA with some sort of robot, the AI revolution is coming. God, I hope that's not what ends up happening. Until that happens, every one of us is a human being. And you know what's really attractive? When instead of running from that fact, you own that.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
When you are brave enough to cry in front of somebody, particularly somebody who you know could judge you for it, it shows that as a man you believe that even if somebody sees your weakness and your vulnerable side, that you feel strong and confident enough in yourself to handle them seeing that side of you, and you really don't give a fuck what they think of you. You can handle whether they think you're weak, you can handle whether they walk away from you, because ultimately you're just yourself and you don't care and you don't need their approval for being a human being who has emotions and needs to healthily express them sometimes. And that is strong, confident, masculine, and frankly sexy as hell. Just don't run from who you are. If you're trying to be an alpha, how is it alpha to be so afraid of the fact that you are a fucking human being? So the way that emotions work is that they do not disappear by you telling them to disappear. It's like in physics, energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only be converted into another type of energy. And emotions are a type of energy that you have, and so you can't just destroy that energy, you can't just tell it to go away, it's still gonna be there, it's just gonna be converted into something else. And in the case of emotions, what it ends up converting into as a secondary measure is far less preferable than if you would just let it out as it was in the beginning. So essentially, if you don't find a way to express your emotions appropriately when they arise, either through talking it out, crying, expressing your feelings creatively, then those emotions will express themselves anyway, but they won't be on your terms. They will express themselves forcibly through potentially unhealthy means that you have no control over, and they're not going to be converted into something that is healthy for you in your life unless you step in and do something about it. So are you going to choose how your emotions of sadness comes out on your own terms, or are you going to be so scared of that feeling that you hide from it forever until one day it just explodes out and completely ruins your life? Well, sadly, most men choose the second option because that's how afraid they are of even letting them feel sad or hopeless or depressed for even 1 second initially.
Might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
They choose the second option, which is why most men, sadly, are almost physically unable to cry, but instead have explosive anger issues for anything that comes up. And Andrew Tate is actually the perfect example of that, because this guy comes off as extremely uncontrollably angry whenever he's talking about literally anything.
So when I sit here and make this video and call you poor, you can't sit here and go, I'm actually not poor, I'm doing pretty good with my business actually, and I have a nice car, you have less than me!
And I'm genuinely 90% sure that this is because he has it ingrained in him that to be a man and to be sad is weak, so instead he takes his sadness and turns it immediately into anger. He tries to suppress his emotions, but what he doesn't realise is that they come out anyway, and they come out when he's doing these podcasts, when he's just talking normally, and they make him look like he's so furious at the world. It's really scary. And you know, I don't think that this ever would have had to have happened if he had just allowed himself to feel sad and vulnerable in the initial moment of whatever happened that hurt him. If he had just allowed himself to feel that instead of trying to bury it, it wouldn't then be exploding out as uncontrollable, irrational anger later on. So Andrew Tate is an example of that, but hey, at least the guy practices what he preaches, that men should run terrified from their emotions all the time and never deal with them in a healthy manner. You can't fault him on that. At least he's consistent.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Anyway, what I'm not saying here is that you should just let yourself cry at even the most inappropriate moments, like say at your child's birthday party when everyone's just trying to have a nice time, and if you cried it would make them all confused and scared. But what I am saying is that you should definitely let yourself cry when it's appropriate and safe to do so. So since women like to feel safe in a relationship, like to feel like they're not gonna be abused usually, and aren't really attracted to men with anger issues, this is why when a man shows that he can be emotional before the point of exploding into rage, that is attractive because it makes a woman feel safe. Because clearly this guy knows how to handle his emotions, and he knows it's far better to cry now than to get the overwhelming urge to abuse her or heck even kill someone from anger later on. So think about it. Would you, imagining that you were a woman, would you realistically be able to catch feelings for this guy?
Weapons down.
Or become romantically attracted to this guy? Or get a cute little crush on this guy?
Delete.
No, didn't think so. And that's because they're not human men. They are robot men creatures. And what makes a man human? Well, it's not just their ability to be strong and powerful like some sort of transformer, but it's also their ability to feel feelings. That right there, the ability to have emotions, is what makes us human and not just a robot. And funnily enough, romantic relationships are actually based on having romantic feelings for each other. So why on earth would a woman be looking to get romantically involved with a man who has zero romantic feelings or feelings in general? It just doesn't make any sense. So when you as a man cry, you are showing that you are human, that you have feelings, that therefore you have the potential for somebody to develop feelings for you. You can't develop feelings for somebody who has no feelings. It just doesn't make sense. Women are looking to be in relationships with men and not robots. That quality that makes you human is what makes you attractive to women. Now, not all women are super emotional, but all humans do have emotions to varying degrees. So when you, a human man, are brave enough to show your human emotions to a woman, it subconsciously lets her know that she is safe to be human and vulnerable around you as well. Now, some women are very emotional, and these women will most likely either want a partner who is also emotional, who can understand that side of her and that aspect of her life, the emotional side, or she'll want a man who is maybe a bit less emotional so that there is a balance in the relationship between experiencing things emotionally and experiencing things calmly and rationally. But the key thing here to remember is that this is a portion of women who will want that. This is not all women who will want that. This is a portion of women who will want that. I am myself an example of a woman who is very emotional herself, but who doesn't want her partner to be the complete polar opposite to me with no emotions. Why? Because I feel like if my partner had no emotions, or if at least he never shared his emotions with me, I would feel like maybe he doesn't understand my emotions. Maybe I'm not safe to feel my emotions because he won't ever truly understand, as somebody with no emotions, why I would feel things to the depth that I do. And by the way, I am just one woman who is emotional. Not all women are emotional. Let's just debunk that completely. Some men are extremely naturally emotional and sensitive. Some women are extremely tough and actually struggle to connect with their emotions. So this idea that all women are emotional beings isn't even concretely the case in the first place. And secondly, even if it was, you still have to be the kind of woman who only wants a tough man to balance them out. She could still be like me and actually want her man to be emotional as well, so that she can connect with him on the deep emotional level that she processes as she moves through the world. This is actually such a big deal for me that, funnily enough, my partner, who used to be very hesitant to share his emotions, could never cry in front of me. I actually fully trained him to be more emotional and cry in front of me because A, I actually cared enough about his mental health and well-being to know that it wouldn't be healthy in the long term for him to suppress any sad or perceivedly weak emotions, and B, because I actually genuinely found him more attractive as a man that way. And also I just knew that he did have emotions deep down, but that he was just hiding them under this exterior of manliness that had been passed down through his family from father to son, this outdated notion of what a man should be. And I just thought, I don't want that. I want you to be emotional. It's healthier for you. So please, please, if you are watching this video, take one thing from it, and that is that my existence, my Alexis existence, is living proof of the fact that not all women want completely emotionally stunted men, and not all women will walk away and be turned off the moment you cry. Now, if it was literally just me who felt this way, if I was the only woman in the world who felt this way, then okay, sure, that's one thing. Maybe I'm the outlier, but every female I have ever met has been the same way. Every female friend I've ever met has always described to me how much more in love with their partner they felt when they showed them their raw, weak, emotional, vulnerable side. Every single one felt more connected to their male partner after he had expressed some deep personal emotion to him. More turned on, not less. Please do not cast off all women and say it's pointless with women because they'll never like me because I have feelings. No, some women want you because you have feelings. If every woman you've ever dated has cast you off the moment you shed a tear, you've not been dating the right women. I'm sorry. And it's so unfair to all the women out there who do like when men show emotion for you to just say, I have so much contempt for women because they will never let men show emotion. No, men just think that women will walk away when a man shows emotion. And so, because I'm saying all this, you might think, well, Alexia, if that's the case, if crying is such a good thing for a man to do, why do some women still not like that? Why would that even be the case at all if what I was saying was correct here? Well, some women don't like it when men express normal human emotions, and I am freely willing to accept that fact, to accept that there will be exceptions to this. I'm not going to sit here and generalize and say all women love emotional men, because that's simply not the case, because every woman is different. First of all, every single human being has different preferences of what they like in another human being that they are interested in romantically. It just depends on the personality, so can we please stop assigning these outdated gender roles to individual human beings? Second of all, A very important thing here to address is that the patriarchy has brainwashed women as well. A lot of men think that in order to be a man, you have to be strong, tough, alpha, and just bury all of your emotions. And it's not just men that think this, it's women who think this as well, because of the relationships to men that they've had in their life. Oftentimes when I have seen women get turned off by a man who cries, what she'll often end up saying is, oh well, my father never cried, so if my male partner cries, I see that as an indication that he isn't masculine. And it's not, it's just an indication that maybe he's not being masculine in the way that her father was masculine, and the way that her father was masculine probably wasn't very helpful for his mental health, but he did it anyway because he thought that's what a man should be. And this carries on and on and on through the generations, and you have a lot of people simply walking around brainwashed thinking that men can't show emotions just because their father never showed emotions. And you'll often find that his father before him never showed emotions either, and his father before him never showed emotions either. And this is what is actually the case in my partner's family. He is the first man in his family to break that cycle of men who are emotionally stunted because they think that that's what it means to be a man. So when women do actually lose respect for a man who cries, it's not because a man crying is not respectable, it's because that woman has been conditioned, just like a lot of men have, that the moment a man expresses emotions, he's less of a man. And what they don't realise is that when a man expresses emotions, that's what makes him human, and therefore a perfectly valid man. If you, as a man potentially watching this video, have only ever had experiences with women who made you feel like shit for expressing yourself emotionally, I am so sorry, it's messed up, it's not fair on you, and that woman was probably brainwashed, or maybe she just had different criteria of what she was looking for in a partner, and she did want somebody who was some sort of robot being who was only there to provide for her, either because that's what she really wanted, or because the patriarchy conditioned her to think that that's what she should want. But either way, I am so sorry, that wasn't fair on you, and believe me, there are women out there who will accept you for all of your human complexity, all of your emotions, and won't just walk away for you daring to express that something has made you sad. You deserve better than a woman who turns around and walks away at the first sign of vulnerability, just because being vulnerable was perceived as a feminine trait. It's not a feminine trait, it's a human being trait. But trust me, you do not need to paint all women with the same brush just because you had those few bad experiences in the past, or that one bad experience that backed up that belief. There are women out there who will be intelligent enough to understand the points I made in this video, and may even be actively attracted to you because you are somebody who feels emotions understandably like any normal human being would. But you see, this is why we need traditional, outdated gender roles to change. These are gender roles that Andrew Tate just loves to push onto young people, repackaged in a more trendy, fun, perhaps modern way, but ultimately it's the same and the damage is the same. And a lot of times it's only because of these traditional gender stereotypes that women love to reject men based on the fact that they dare to express emotions. This is why I say people like Andrew Tate hurt men. You are literally perpetuating the myth that men shouldn't ever be emotional. That myth reaches women, and women will then reject you the moment you show emotion. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot here. And instead of blaming those traditional gender roles that have to some extent brainwashed women and brainwashed all of us, you just blame women as a gender as a whole for that rejection. And there is so much more going on there beneath the surface. Okay, so I actually also have a special guest here with us today to help illustrate my point even further in real life, so that you all know that it's not just me, a silly girl on the internet, making this up. Hayden, if you would like to come on into the shot.
Thanks for having me.
So this is my lovely partner, and he looks shorter than me, but he's really not. He's just slouching and I'm in a higher chair. But basically, I want you to tell my viewers who may be thinking, this girl of yours, you know, she's just saying this because she doesn't like Andrew Tate, and like really she doesn't like to see men cry. And I would just like you to tell them, this is completely unscripted by the way, I'm just asking him questions. Just tell them what you think of that assumption.
Tell the people what I think. Well, it certainly doesn't match the experience that I've had but in relationships where I've shown no emotion, which have been largely unsuccessful, and in a relationship where I've shown much more emotion than I've ever shown before, i.e. this one, has been met with much more of a deepened and overall holistic connection that we've been able to build upon didn't happen before when I was in relationships where I wasn't being emotional, you know, not just being like angry because I'm allowed to be angry, I'm a man. Not really something I was very good at expressing, but better at expressing like fear and sadness. So when that started to happen, I wasn't met with lol man up, that kind of stuff. I don't know if I can say that, but it was met with a lot of time and warmth and space, which it made it a lot easier for me to connect with you across the board. It was like the rest of the relationship got better because we had that difficult time where I was feeling down or I was feeling sad.
And I think a lot of times young men think, you know, if they cry, then the woman will simply walk off and they won't get laid, because that's the primary purpose of any relationship you would have with a woman. And like, obviously that is important. It depends what kind of relationship you're looking for, but I don't want men to ruin their mental health, not expressing their emotions. Essentially, what we're experiencing here is a relationship that is actually deep and it's real because we've actually connected with each other on that deep emotional level, which sometimes means crying your eyes out. If a woman is not willing to listen to your emotions, she probably doesn't.
Go find another.
Yeah, just find another, because as I'm saying, like, my existence is living proof that not all women are like this. And, you know, if you're only looking for that surface level connection, and if you're fine to sort of bottle up your emotions inside while you're with that woman, then I guess you can be with her if it's just, you know, a friends with benefits type situation. But if you want like an actual long-term relationship, I would definitely suggest finding a woman who doesn't see you as weak just because you as a human being have feelings sometimes. And there are definitely women out there who will be there for you in that way.
It is 2022. Traditional relationships can be successful, let's be real. If that's something that you want and you perhaps either don't know how to have that deeper emotional expression, then all power to you. Like, we can't say that this is the way just because it works for us. We are two quite emotionally sensitive people, and thus need that space to be ourselves. It was all emotion that was suppressed in this. Like, being a man, it's that you can't tell people that you love them just as much as you can't tell people you're scared or sad. It was all of it.
Because it's all soft and it's all weak, and men are supposed to be hard and strong.
You can be angry, because angry is strong.
Even though anger is actually weak because it's covering up for a deeper insecurity or sadness like 90% of the time.
Yeah, often it's a symptom of a greater problem. Nonetheless, that was conditioned into us. So then when you get me, who is at the very least brought up in a society that's more tolerant of emotions now than it has been historically, men are still struggling, obviously, with fighting our battles. But I'm at the point now where I've been able to kind of dip my toes in the waters of emotion and express those with someone that I trust, and it has been met with the opposite of what the narrative of Andrew Tate, etc., the alpha male sigmas that would say, keep your emotions to yourselves because the women will use it against you. They'll do things that are unacceptable to treat any other human being, which just shows that they're not adequate partners in general. So you have to be able to recognize that, and it's really damn tough because we're not taught to express our feelings to other men, let alone to anyone. So I feel really sorry for the men who have tried to form that connection with someone and they've had it blown up in their face, because I'd do the same. I'd be like, well, screw it then. Women clearly don't accept me.
Yeah, why even bother? Because society says I shouldn't do this, and the women I've met in the past said I shouldn't do it either. So like, obviously I'm not gonna do that now.
I didn't know how to express my feelings articulately at all, which you're gonna have. Like, we
have
to learn.
Dare to before that point.
Yeah, or if I did, I'd do it in really unhelpful ways, which would then blow up in your face, because you can express your feelings like, hey, I feel really sad, can I talk about this? Or you can say, screw you, you're the problem, I hate you, you make me bad. You're still expressing the emotion, but you're expressing it in a really unhelpful way. What we need is like someone to show us how we can be more articulate emotionally, so that people do still respect us and allow us to be whatever the hell we are, whether that is an emotional person who cries a lot, whether that's a person who doesn't really feel strong emotions. But if your family dies, you're able to tell your partner, because what they're saying is that you just got to keep it in and just deal with it, because otherwise they'll leave you. That's horrible. It's a prison of a relationship.
Yeah, and this is the root of a lot of men's mental health issues that we are trying to unpack and set right one day at a time.
Main thing, I guess, is that this is my profession as well as my personal experience, so please listen to professionals, scientists and relationship experts when it comes to how men and women interact in successful relationships.
Any other words?
Please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks very much.
These were the reasons why I think men, when they cry, are hot. Because it shows that they trust you with their vulnerability, it shows that they're secure enough in their own masculinity that they're not afraid to be vulnerable, and it allows you to connect with them on a deeper romantic level, and it just generally shows that they are not robots, that they are human, and that is what is attractive to me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment squid if you reached the end of the video, and you can become a new member of my ultra elite super secret club and comment your opinions down below, as that will help to boost my video in the algorithm. So even if you just want to hate on me, feel free to do that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week with another video soon. Bye.